feel like church is going to start.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
I didn't get a chance to edit our countdown on top of the new image I made for this, so I said this is like the stock 30-second countdown here. So I said,
but it had snow. That was really nice.
I mean, the snow works.
Yeah, it was really nice, Chris. Good job, buddy.
Yeah, Santa does what he can, so. Well, everybody, welcome to we haven't done a live in a while. I know. Live episode
here. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Sorry.
we should be live in our Facebook group. If you're not there, come over at some point. We're live on the Pro Sound Web Facebook page and also on the Pro Sound Web YouTube channel as well. And if you don't catch all of this, we'll put it. We're gonna post it in the next day or so on our regular podcast feed. So, Michael, Kyle, Hannah, Willa, howdy.
Hi, hello.
Hannah with the giantest coffee, and Willa with a very long mic stand. You can't see most of it. It's mostly out of frame right now.
Yep. I just wanted something to come across the body, and just be directly in my face.
It was working.
Which is what she said.
You did well.
Sorry, I had to put my liquor order in with my daughter. She was here.
With your 7-year-old daughter? Yeah.
Tell mommy I need a whiskey on the rocks, like a lot. Are you guys? Okay, yeah, you're not going to be the only one. Santa over there is already like too deep.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
This
is a non-discreet black cup.
Welcome everyone to the Signal Annoyance Holiday. Was it 2021 stream?
Apparently,
I actually had to look at the calendar there.
If you ask Jeff Hawley, this may be some other Matrix time frame.
Who knows?
This might not actually be 2021. I'm not sure what time it is.
Maybe we're stuck in a loop. Who's to say?
Shout out to our sponsors. Season's greetings from Audix and season's greetings from Pro Sound Web Live Center National and our friends over at Allen and Heath. Yep. And do we have any? Oh, of course, the Roadie Clinic.
The Roadie Clinic.
Who's always our secret sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Audix, I had a call with the folks over at Audix today, and I don't want to spoil anything, but we have some cool stuff coming down the pipe from Audix. So we're doing some cool stuff with them for y'all. So. Sweet. I think before we got a couple guests to join us tonight. We're gonna have a good time. If you're watching on Facebook, you can drop comments there. If you're watching on YouTube, Chris has got some crazy robot machine that's gonna pull all the comments and stuff in. I think so. We'll be able to see what you're talking about and hopefully respond to you. Thank you for the Santa emojis. That's really nice. Yes. So yeah.
And what's up to my MSI family? Some people from MSI saying happy holidays. Happy
holidays. What? Maryland in the house.
Yeah. So we got a couple fun guests to join us tonight. Kyle's having drinks. I think we're gonna have a special appearance from cousin Randy later on in the evening.
Possibly. He's been crashed on my couch for a few days. He didn't get backstage passes for the lady to the Big Rat Firehouse reunion show, so
it
didn't go down too well.
I heard he was going out with Tora though.
That was last year with Bang Tango and Brittany Fox.
All right, Willa, what's the coolest things with Arm's Reach?
Oh, fuck. Probably my boyfriend's fancy Sennheiser passive headphones.
Wow,
These are the most
insane.
Nice.
They are insane. They're very like, hi, Kemper. Oh my gosh, hi. Anyway, these are like probably the most amazing headphones ever. Andy got really into hi-fi. I mean, he's always been into hi-fi, but even more so over the pandemic, and went on a hunt for the what's up, Jay?
Hey.
Went on a hunt for the best headphones ever that would deliver a hi-fi sort of feel and sound like similar to a set of hi-fi speakers, but would be apartment friendly. So these are his, and they're fucking dope.
Nice. Doesn't he have some big ass speakers that he made though?
He does. They are at our old place right now. We haven't been able to move them over just yet.
We're moving into a small castle. So all right, let's move along.
That's the library.
All right, Hannah.
On the river.
Hannah, coolest things Arm's Reach.
I made a jellyfish today.
Whoa.
Oh,
that is adorable.
Thank
is
you.
That crocheted or knit or what?
It's crocheted. Its name is Marmalade. Shout out to David Williams for naming it and making me make it, because originally it was supposed to be a phoenix, but the eyes are too close together. So it became a jellyfish named Marmalade.
It's so cute. I love it.
Nice.
Super cute.
I'm glad people are enjoying it because it makes me very sad that it didn't turn out to be what it was supposed to. But
I love it. Sometimes the best things come out of something that you didn't intend, right? So
exactly.
Nice. Jade, welcome.
Welcome. Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Your mic works. Yes, it's working. It's working.
Okay, cool. I didn't have time to set up a fancy mic, so it's just the computer. But
it's all good. We can hear you. All right, what's the coolest thing is the arm's reach?
So okay, I have this gold foiled Christmas tree, like mini Christmas tree.
I love those things.
I got it probably at like Marshall's or Home Goods or something a while ago, and it used to be on my monitor desk when I did like a Christmas tour a couple years ago. So
gotta have the console trinkets.
Yeah.
I always tell my lady that if I ever make it big, and if I ever get, I'm gonna get her a like $10,000 gift certificate to Hobby Lobby.
Yes.
Hold on now. I think I mentioned this before on the show, Kyle, but when I was at Berkeley, John Mayer came to talk to us, and one of the really cool pieces of advice he gave was define success for yourself before you start. So you just said, well, if I ever make it big, I would like to know what is big to Kyle Churnside.
I don't know, like pay my bills like on time, credit score maybe in like the 600s, so I can. I always used to say, man, look at the size of those rims. That dude's got good credit. You know what I mean? good credit at some point is better than a pocket full of cash. You know what I mean? So
that's true.
Digging out of COVID. So thank you, John Mayer. That is my goal.
Yep.
600.
Kyle Churnside.
Arms reach. So I had my daughter bring me this stuff. I'm drinking Minor Case. It's a rye whiskey. And I didn't go rocks. I just went straight up. I have another game we can play. We'll play it with our other guests.
There you go.
And I'd like to shout out Heil for the PR40. I really like this microphone. I know there's been a lot of mics that have been handed down and around with us, so I definitely have my Earthworks here. And
we have like a pretty good mic locker going here at the Signal Noise Podcast.
Yeah, so if you ever want us to try out your stuff for free,
Michael.
We did a white elephant at the Rational Acoustics Christmas party. Jamie got me this lovely desk lantern with a couple flickering fake candles in there.
That's cool.
Oh, that's darling.
So isn't it nice? So it really kind of fits the whole vibe of my office. So it's over here on my rack next to my desk.
From that event, I got a bonsai tree starter kit. So
whoa, awesome!
Nice.
As well.
Those things are so finicky, but they're so fun if they do the thing.
It's gonna go on my desk when I move down. So
there you go.
Beautiful months away, but yeah.
Santa, what do you got with
Santa? What you got?
I have this cool old book, and by book, it's actually a Bible.
Church is starting. I wasn't kidding. See, I told you.
This is from the early 1800s.
That is cool.
I kid you not. This is the Leonard Family Bible, and in here are the birth and death records from the 1800s of my family.
Awesome.
Wow.
So we were immigrants from Switzerland. Anyway, this has the first couple generations of the Leonard family when they came over in 1805 in the U.S. So
that's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool.
Just sitting around.
I love how all of us have like these cute little trinkets and things, and you come out with this ancient relic of familial history.
Well, Kyle started this tradition at the beginning of the year, and at first it was like, what's arm's reach, and then I don't. My desk is not like Kyle's. And so it's basically become show and tell for at least for us, as opposed to, and we just like catching guests off guard at that point, So
for sure,
because Signal Noise podcast is known for its gotcha reporting. That's really how we do it here.
Yeah, we're right there. Eyewitness.
So let's do this, and I think we're gonna run this question by all of our guests, and I think just in a couple of minutes we'll bring our first guest on. But for everyone who's here, I think it's been a wonderful year for the Signalers podcast.
Iceland in the house, by the way.
That's
cool. I've actually done a couple shows in Reykjavik, and good times. Yeah.
Sweet,
man. I want to go to Reykjavik. That's like on my bucket list of places to go.
Well, at the rate you're getting new tours, well, I'm pretty sure that'll happen sooner rather than later.
Y'all keep your fingers crossed for me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Hannah.
We recently crossed 250,000 downloads, which is pretty impressive.
Insanity.
Just super amazing, and we're just super, super humbled by everyone who's paying attention to what we're doing and joining in the community and participating. I think it's awesome. And we it's been really cool. I mean, this year I've seen Hannah's career do awesome stuff. I've seen Willa's career do awesome stuff. I got to hang out with Jade. So I think I would like to hear from everybody. Like, in a lot of ways, the last year or two have been challenging professionally. But like, what's one thing that you did professionally that you're proud of this year? I want to hear about that from everybody. I'm going to start with Chris.
Ah, damn it.
Good one.
Oh man, I had a big job shift this year. I went from 10 years of being the director of audio at a production company to, with like a lot of things in COVID, things changed, and I took over operations. So I'm the operations manager. So, in some ways, a lot of what I did was the same. So to me, I think what's changed, are proud of being changing is just, we've been doing taking a lot of things that we've been doing operationally for a long period of time and just gut checking ourselves and finding new ways of doing trucking and new ways of hiring freelancers. I did something we never did before. I put out for a freelancer database and got over 1,000 names of people to fill out. I did a freelancer open house and got people to come in. So I've been building on a freelance network for years now, and kind of seeing that kind of actually come to fruition and stuff. I think that was probably a big accomplishment of mine, and look forward to that, perpetuating into next year.
Willa? Now, guys, I just want to say I'm super proud of you, Willa. When I saw you mix your show, it was really cool. I was just like, I know her. So
you got to see me twice.
Your career's really taken off this year. It's been pretty deep to watch.
Thank you.
So.
Yeah, wow. This year definitely took there's a lot of development for me professionally that is just incredible. And the friendships that I've made over the pandemic have just deepened and gotten sweeter. And I'm just filled with gratitude for that. And I think the feather in my cap that I'm going to hang on to for as long as I will ever live is the fact that I got to mix for monitors for Indigo Girls for 10 whole days.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That, I mean, shout out to Becky Campbell for getting me that gig. Thanks, girl. That was absolutely incredible. And I was just very humbled that they trusted me with that. And so that was like my first sleeper bus experience. That was my first A-level experience. And it was with a band that I grew up listening to. So it was just a beautiful full circle thing. And then just the crowds for Indigo are so beautiful and sweet, and they're so present with the music. So it was just a serious pleasure. And then making the connections that I did over the year that's bleeding into this upcoming year of a couple of tour opportunities that I've got in my corner, which I am over the moon about and so grateful for. So that's what I got.
Sweet.
Hell yeah.
All gratitude over here.
Yeah.
All the gratitude.
That's awesome.
Hannah.
A week ago today, I got offered a full-time job at Rational Acoustics. So
hold on. You didn't just get offered; you accepted. I mean,
yes, of course.
Yes.
There's a big difference. There's a big difference.
Yes, girl. Yes.
Get it.
I'll be moving down in like a month and a half or so, getting things squared away as the new year comes, and then I'll be down there.
So rad! Congrats, Hannah.
Thank you.
So awesome.
I'm excited because I get to see Jade this week or next week.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hang out.
Coming up to Maine.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Hell
Jade,
yeah.
what about you?
I feel just proud of, just kind of how much my mixing has improved over this like last kind of chunk of touring season. That just ended. Things kind of started kicking back for me around June with like festivals, and then it kind of turned into, there were a lot of like, situations I'd hadn't been in before, like big amphitheaters and dB limits, and my artist was at this place in LA, the Greek, for 3 nights, and
heard of it.
I remember I like called Michael for advice because the first night I couldn't stay under the dB limit, which is like 95 over like, I don't know, 5 minutes or something. And I don't know, like, Michael, you gave me like such a good pep talk, and the next two nights were just amazing. Like, I feel like I really crushed it. And I don't know, just like things like that where, just overcoming various hurdles within, mixing different rooms and this and that. Like, I just kind of finished things off with a bunch of theaters, which that can be like such a beast. But yeah, no, it feels good to just like have learned a lot and applying a lot of things I've learned from like this show and all of you guys.
What?
And yeah, I mean, of course. Oh my God, just a sponge of information. And so it's just been cool to just like see that progress within my own journey and
awesome.
Feeling good and feeling,
love that.
Yeah.
And what you did in LA is hard, and a lot of touring engineers struggle with that. So you kicked ass.
Yeah,
you deserve to be proud of that.
Yeah, and then I was able to, I mean, it was really cool. So
that's kick ass.
Yeah.
Mr. Churnside.
Okay, so I'll keep it short and sweet, but yeah, professionally, and I want to attribute this to you guys as my friends, because you are. We get to look at each other all the time. These people on Facebook only get to see us when they post a
have
picture.
to see us. Yeah.
Yeah, when they have to see us. One, I got to hang out with you cats in Dallas. I thought that was amazing. I have not. I'm working on my mental health and my physical health and my intellectual health and my spiritual health, and I'm doing fairly well at that. I started a new job at Gateway Production Services and Studios here in St. Louis, Missouri, as the audio operation. So I've literally stepped away from mixing. I only mix at church on Sundays because it's fun and I need to be there. So it's the gym, church, and physical activity. I get to hang out with you guys, man. Like, you guys have become a wealth of knowledge for me and a shoulder to lean on, and it's really cool. Moving in, I will say this, and this will be the last thing I talk about professionally. 2022, this will be 30 years of doing something in audio professionally. I started at 20 because I really started at 15 mixing, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Do any of us know what we're doing?
Yes, and we're learning, which is amazing. Like, to hear your guys' stories, I want to talk about the mentorship program. Like, I thought it would just be fun to make a whole bunch of new friends. I tell you the truth. Like, I didn't think anyone would learn shit from me. Like, I divert to these two gentlemen across here and you ladies to take over that. But I've really formed some really cool, close personal relationships with most of the folks on most of them fucks. That's Randy. Most of them fucks on Facebook, and you fucks are awesome, man. I love talking to
you. So speaking of the mentorship program, for our first guest, she's a ringer because Wesley.
Wait! Hold up! You don't get to escape that question, Michael.
Shit, Willie, you caught me.
Oh,
you caught me. Okay, so
sorry to whoever you're about to introduce.
Damn, Willie. Okay, I like to read audiobooks. I kind of grew up reading audiobooks. It's kind of a big thing for me to like acquire knowledge and kind of benefit.
I listen to audiobooks.
Well,
wait,
same.
Sorry.
The Newton's idea of standing on the shoulders of giants, right? Like, all this knowledge is out there and it's published, and you can sit down and read it and learn from those other people. This year, I published co-authored a couple of papers. So it was really cool to like kind of go to the edge of that knowledge that's established and just bump one little brick a little bit further, and kind of like, now I'm contributing and the cycle continues. That's pretty cool.
And you're about to work on your biggest written piece of work ever.
That's true. Yeah. So it's awesome.
Yeah, y'all, I'm proud of us. We're amazing.
Can we bring? Is Kat here? Chris?
Yes. Yep.
All right. So my mentee Kat is here. So we were talking about Signal Noise.
Hey, Kat.
Kat, you had a big week this week.
I sure did.
Tell us about it, please.
Yeah. So Tuesday, which I think was yesterday, I had an interview with Claire, and they offered me a position, and so I work for Claire.
That's
starting in
February.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I am so excited.
And you did something that was really hard and was really scary, which is walk away from the stability of a salaried gig that you had outgrown, and said, and you and I talked about it a lot, and kind of debated it, and you talked to Chris about it, and everybody on screen now is pulling for you and asking about you and how you're doing, and so it's been a journey, and it wasn't easy, but it's going to be awesome, and we're all really proud of you, and really just can't wait to see what you do. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Cheers.
So I'm very curious, since we did speak on the phone a bunch, and I gave you my 2 cents as a person who often gives interviews. How was that helpful? Like, how was the interview process, and did that help pay off?
Yeah. No, that was incredibly helpful. A lot of what you said about looking for, like, not looking for skills necessarily, but looking for, like, who I am and whatever, it was definitely what I felt like the interview was about.
Yeah.
Because my resume says
you want to see how big of a nerd you were.
Yeah. Well, no, the biggest thing I said, and actually to echo what Brett Scoop Blendon had said on an episode, he was like, hire the right person, not the right person for the job, and so what I said is, like, look, I said, Claire, Eighth Day, whoever you were interviewing with can train you to do the technical skills. They can't train your personality, and they can't train your mindset and your work ethic. That has to come from you. So if you show them that part, then that's fine. They can make the rest happen. And it was the advice I gave, and I encourage it to anyone else. Like, it's when you're, showing yourself. I mean, it's, it's more about, being able to show your work ethic, your mindset, your headspace. That's going to matter more to an employer than the actual physical skill you have.
Show your passion. Show your passion.
And you can be trained.
Exactly.
And Claire's known for that. They train their people to know the things that they want them to know. But Chris, how many times have you, Kyle, how many times have you said on the show too? One thing you can't teach is give a shit.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Sweet.
I mean, the longer I've been doing this, I mean, I haven't been in this industry for very long, but I was raised I was raised by 2 parents who are in the financial industry. So everything is very formal, very corporate, very like stale, and very skill oriented. And as I think mostly because of this community right here with the Signals to Noise podcast, I've come to realize that it really is personality based, and it's like, especially like in a touring or like stay-at-home job, like a touring situation, it really is this person good to be around through, like, with close quarters and in insane schedules with very high stress levels and not a whole lot of personal space. And so when people reach out to me for gigs, I've become a little bit more casual and less like stiff and professional. I mean, like, it's still professional, of course, but like, it's a little bit more open. And I've learned how to let people kind of like, we're going into therapy here. Mostly just like learn how to be open and let people see me for who I am. Because like for the longest time, that wasn't okay. Yeah. And in my first jobs in music industry, like, that wasn't okay for me to be who I am. But now it's like, all right, well, I'm not working with them anymore, which I know you, Kat, have some relation to. But now it's like, okay, I think I'm a cool person. I like me, and I really enjoy other people and learning their stories. So why not just be who I am and just like present myself 100% on the table as someone who can and will do the job very well for you. So,
well, I think, having watched you work now with different artists, I think that is your biggest strength as a professional, is the way that you have a camaraderie with your artists, and the way that you kind of form a rapport with them, and they come to trust you, and you're the representative with the local SE and with the local techs, and like,
she's a Cancer. She's
double Cancer with a Leo moon, man. Like, it's helpful.
I mean, I think that's what gets you your gigs, is I'm going to use the phrase bedside manner, the way that you approach and you interact with people. I mean, it's a very unique thing that you have, and it makes people feel welcome, and it makes people feel like they want to help you, and everyone wants to do a good job. I think that's really cool.
I dearly appreciate, like, coming from you. That's huge. So thank you so much, Michael. And you're such a huge back pocket person for me, like front burner person. Like all of you guys are, and I love you dearly. And like that's something I really strive for, is to make sure my artists feel safe, heard, acknowledged, and cared for beyond anything else. Because everything else can come with that, but you can't, like, being someone that the artist feels comfortable trusting. Comfortable trusting is the biggest thing for me. So I just want to make sure that I provide that with everybody I work with.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Hey, Jade.
Hey.
When's the last time you played one of those tapes?
It's been too long. I have like 5 tape decks in here, but yeah, I've mostly been playing records. I love tapes. Give me all your old tapes that you don't listen to.
I sent Jeff Holly like 30 tapes, I think, because he
got
a farm truck. Yeah,
like
that had some tapes in it.
Oh, that's right.
All right, here's what you're getting, Jade. So strap in. It's gonna be Paula Abdul, the album Straight Up. Doesn't get much better than that. It's fucking
That's
rocking.
one of the first recordings I ever heard on tape, probably.
Me too.
I remember my sister recording it from the radio.
What do you got there, Kyle?
Show No Mercy on vinyl.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Sorry. Arm's reach. I got all my vinyls like literally laying on the floor.
We're gonna spin the guest roulette wheel here again. Kat, you kick ass. For super
congratulations.
Proud of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Buy some Amish furniture while you're up there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That shit is awesome.
All right.
Sturdy. Amish butter, even.
Let's
Ooh, I want Amish butter.
There we
go. I have a story.
What's up, man?
So Leo gave me tickets to a concert. And I go to this concert, and I walk up to front of house with my friend Sam, and I ask the front of house person that's mixing what's going on with their console, and that person happens to be Jade. So funny story there, but we're such a community. It's really cool. So.
Yeah.
I live in the D market of artists. like the F market of artists. None of you guys come visit. I did get to hang out with Dan and the guys from the Luke Combs crew, which was super awesome, just for a little bit. I gave away my ticket to my stepkid because he's in the Army and he came home for the weekend and he was trying to impress his girlfriend. And I gave away my tickets. But if you guys come through St. Louis, remember, I live here and I'm armed.
Oh,
so
man, I was totally just there, Kyle.
So, I mean, show them your guns. You are a physical arm. Like, yes.
That's right.
All right, Leo. I'm gonna put Leo on the spot a little bit now because we had you on the show, Leo. You made a big deal about I don't really do anything. The band's just really good, and I just stand there.
I stand by it. But go on.
I watched you mix, man. First of all, it kicked ass. It was awesome, right? It sounded great. Second of all, you're right. The band is killer, but it's very, very hard not to mess that up. I know a lot of engineers that would just want to get in there and tweak and turn knobs and just and you resist that temptation, man. You just let it rock. Yeah, and it's killing, dude. And that is hard to do. So I think that I want people to know that I think with anyone else at the helm, that band would not sound the way they sound. I think you're a big part of that equation, man.
Thanks so much, man. Thank you. Well, I told you that also multiple times. I'm a fan first, and I know the music to the note. And I was they took me along in the process of like growing as a band too, which is cool. So it's for them, it's very important to be part of the family, and they make it feel like that, and it's amazing. And I've had the most wonderful time on this run. It was superb.
You just announced like 3 more months of tour dates too. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, they start in January through May. I want to say.
That's wild.
But there's gonna be much more. It's like summer is gonna be lit for these guys. It's gonna be lit.
You're in Albany like 2 weeks after I get back from my tour, so I'm gonna come out and visit you, man.
Cross your fingers. We get through everything. Yeah. No more lockdown. Be safe. Yeah. Wear your mask. Get vaccinated. Whatever you got to do. Like it's all still take care. We're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah.
How's everybody feeling, by the way? This was the weekend that everybody in our industry got hit. Like all the band got hit too. Like I don't think it's COVID, but all of us got sick. Like common cold kind of stuff. But I hope you guys are healthy because it's been pretty rough.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just came back from a tour. I've been home for a couple days, and Like, as far as I know, everybody's safe, but I have heard that, you know, like someone in like support had gotten sick. So it's definitely, and I'm in New York now, so it's definitely pretty rampant.
Yeah, same. We spent in New York in DC and Philly last weekend, and we actually had opener coming for, I think, the Saturday show, and they were like, "Oh boy, guys, like you're so lucky not to be in New York right now because it's kind of an end of the world there right now," and it kind of was.
Hey Leo, so out of curiosity, when you're working with the band for a while period of time, do you ever, when you go into a tour, are you you know, and you got like different legs of it, are you trying to work on anything maybe specific in that run? Like, hey, I'm gonna try to work on like this. I'm gonna try to work on this. And so what was that for you in this last run that you just did?
So what was awesome is that the band is recording everything, right? We multi-track every show, like left and right, and a Zoom recorder too. So I get multiple points of view of like the Zoom recorders, and I listen to all of it too. I kind of go through all of it to see if I made like mistakes in the mix, or like to make sure that, you know, to learn the PA that I mixed on too, to hear like, oh, my mix is this when I hear on the laptop, like, so it was done in the room, and I put notes. So next time I'm at the venue, you know, it goes through a processor that does this, you know, and.
Are you listening to your board mix and to that Zoom recording?
Yep.
You're kind of going back and forth.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's great. It's a great tool, and actually I improved a lot. Just like you, Jade, were saying, my mixing improved exponentially. Mixing on this run with all these like iconic ballrooms and working with these like incredible house engineers on this run. You know, my compression understanding became even better. My kind of overall balancing of like the kick became more tasteful, you know, like it's not just bam bam all night, which is like the first sign of somebody who doesn't give a shit about the mix. So I can hear the kick, I can hear the vocals, everything else is like a mid-range filler, you know.
How much of the kick when you're working on that was that your relationship of main to subs versus the mix coming off your board?
Right, totally. So I use the subs. This band, we're talking about Lawrence for people that don't know Lawrence the band, which is awesome.
No relation, but
no relation. Yeah, but they're a funk band, and the sub is only coming in on a few, like predominantly on a few minutes in the set, and it's more of like an effects thing. You know, it drops and it's like So overall, there's the kick is on my mixing page, right? The kick DCA is the thing that gets moved a lot, as far as like because the show is dynamic. They don't do this whole like, oh, it's, you know, going up to 90, then it goes to 100, and you know, it's very dynamic. It goes slow songs to quiet songs to loud songs. So it's very important to like not slam people with the kick when you don't need to, and so yeah, that whole thing was a big improvement for me this run, you know.
And then that compression that you're focusing on, was that simply for a stream mix, or was that also like do you kind of compress and kind of, you know, master your mix coming off the desk going to the mains?
No, there's literally almost nothing on my master bus, just like a really mild compressor to tame like the really strong spikes, sudden stuff that happens. But it's mostly because I got to mix on some really real like K2 rigs or like DB systems that are like state of the art, you know, and they're unforgiving. It's like mixing on my Genelec and JBL monitors right here. It's the same. You can hear literally everything. So the compression mostly on the vocals became way more precise on my mix. I believe so. You know, again, it's very subjective, but that was the biggest improvement for me. Just mixing on state of the art rigs in great rooms will do this to you, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool to be able to like achieve just better consistency across all those different rigs too, and you know, get to kind of like zero in on certain things, like, you know,
definitely
getting that kick better.
Right. And also this was my first like big national tour. And again, just having all these rooms available within a span of a few months, where you don't forget what happened last week or the 2 weeks before. You do know, and it reinforces you to know when the rig is not right. You hear it instantly. Because I know when I plug my D-Live, the band's D-Live in a normal rig, my mix is smacking. You know, so if it doesn't sound, you know, utmost perfection, something's off with the rig, so I go and fix it on the master. But most of the time it was
Yeah, one of the biggest hurdles for me with that is like when there's something I want to change about the mix, like not so quickly going for channel EQ and adjusting things on that end, but actually going on the back end and starting with, you know, my outputs. And, you know, for my last run, I actually spent more time than normal, you know, doing like just adjusting like my sub matrix and fixing issues that I was hearing with that, just on the matrix side versus like pulling things out of the actual kick channel and bass. And that helped things just kind of like, it's just, it's such a, I don't know if anyone else has ever felt this way, but like, you know what I mean? Like, have you ever just kind of just gone for the channels, but, you know, kind of forget that you can actually achieve a lot by just adjusting your outputs?
Relevant Rhino John day calendar quote here, right?
Okay, here he is again. You met the quota.
You got to do it. But first of all, we want to say hi to Troy and Andrew Stokely, also two cool dudes who are watching us. So at any rate, Ryan was like, when you put your reference recording on, you don't EQ the reference recording to sound good. You EQ the PA to make the reference recording sound good. He said, treat your board mix like the reference recording. Mm-hmm. Why would you remix your board mix that you know is good for a different room? Change the PA. And I was like, yeah, man, that's it. So there you go. But it's the same thing. I think, and I've talked about before, my approach of making the filters justify their existence. This filter has to pay me rent. If I can't come up with a reason why it's there, I'm taking it out. So before I go drop a filter in, I'm asking myself, do I really want to put this in? Does it want to be in the input? Does it want to be in the output? It's the same idea. It's just being a little more deliberate with those things instead of just jumping in and hitting them. You know, it's exactly what you're talking about.
So my two things are, one, is it my console? Two, is it the house console? So that's when I decide where I'm going to grab, because usually by a week or two into the show, my console's where it needs to be. My outputs are not. And that's what I'll focus on as well, is like house desk. Maybe I will go to the input channel. I kind of know what that mic's going to do. Might not know what this desk is going to do. Best choice. Second choice, my console, straight to outputs. I might even start mixing the show off VCAs or subgroups like immediately. And we talked about that on other shows too, like grabbing those things. Like your room isn't changing from empty to full type mentality. You know, you're not going from, oh no, there's more low end in the room. No, there's more sacks of blood. Like, let's reach to the outputs and not the EQ type measure if you're touring with your own console. I love that you guys talk about that, because it was an inherent mistake that I saw a lot of engineers coming through venues do, is grabbing things without having the intention, like Rhino John / Michael said, you know, got to have the intention for sure.
Leo, can you talk about Listen Live that the band's doing? It's pretty cool, man.
Totally. I mean, I don't really know the back end of it, because Jordan, the band, the tour manager and the band sax player, he was the kind of the brain operation of it. But what it does, so basically on this tour, we're doing this thing where fans can buy this experience. It's on your phone. It's an app. And it's basically audio over Wi-Fi that is being streamed from the FOH console. So it goes Dante split from the D Live into a laptop that with special stems that are like not front of house, not monitors, completely separate stems, to just for people to plug in their headphones that they bring from home or they rent with like Samsung, whatever. And I'll show quickly what it looks like just so people see the interface. And what you can do is you can choose basically instruments that basically that's the interface. And all these would have names of the stem. And you can, yeah, there you go, thanks. And you can go in and you can, hold on. Basically, you can go in and you can control the stem's volume. You can solo the stem. You can mute the stem and so on and so on. So it's been working great. Not a lot of people bought it because there's no active salesmanship of this happening. But I think on this second round, I'm hoping I'll be the salesperson for it on the pre-show. And maybe we'll catch up a little more. As of right now, it's only being promoted on their website, on their VIP page. You can get it together with the VIP pass. But it's been pretty cool, man. The latency is
cool. That's cool, yeah.
I got to try it out. It was pretty neat, yeah. What was that, Willa?
I asked, the latency is almost nothing? Is that what you
It's
said?
not, you can't be a performer and use it. It's still like bordering the 20 millisecond that if you're on stage, it's a little awkward, but if you're in the house, it kind of matches the latency of the PA. So it's not that awkward. It's been pretty cool. Everybody been surprised by it too. I've never seen audio over Wi-Fi working that flawlessly and with this capability. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's just so everybody knows, the cover story on the January issue of Lifestyle International is about Leo and his work with the band, and that's one of the things we're talking about. So,
hell yeah, awesome!
Yeah. It'd be big time, man. You can hang it on your wall like Kyle's golden record there. Yeah.
I'm gonna rent some rims.
All right, should we rotate out here?
I think so. Leo, good to see you, my brother.
Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, man.
Happy New Year.
You guys. Take care.
Take care.
Bye. Take
care.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone.
I'm gonna bring Daniel Keller in.
All right.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm the ringer.
Hello, Daniel.
Well, we got one more after Daniel, but it's all good.
Oh, we do?
Yeah. Well, we got Wes. Wes
is here?
Oh,
by the way,
you can't see backstage, can you?
No, I can't.
No.
Yeah. So Wes is backstage.
If listeners out there haven't listened to the Daniel Keller episode, gotta go listen to it.
Which you're
amazing. Super amazing.
Not only that, Daniel, you have hands down the coolest background camera shot of any guest on the show right now. I just want to throw that out there, man. You got guitars, you got lava lamps.
I kind of want to show you my desk right now.
Dude, there's not only a lava lamp. Oh yeah, that's nice. Wait a minute. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Hold on, wait, I can make you full screen somehow.
What is that?
One of those plasma ball things.
Yeah, man.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, dope.
Wow.
It's long too.
You're
It's
not
like
complete without the plasma.
I think I need one of those.
So Daniel, I want to throw it back to you. The same thing we were talking about earlier, man. Like, what's one thing that you accomplished professionally this year that you're proud of? You've been really busy.
Super busy.
I think what I have accomplished this year that I have been wanting to accomplish for a long time is to, I've been doing a lot of like PR work as my main gig for a long time. And I have been doing more educating and stuff as a side gig. And in the last year, especially, this has been like, I don't know, man. I mean, for a lot of people, I think the whole shutdown thing has been more than, it's been life-changing. At least for me, it's been life-changing in like just figuring out what's really important. And what's always been important to me is paying it forward and, like educating and stuff. So I think that's what I'm the most proud of in the last year or so, man, is, transitioning to doing a lot more content that I feel is worthwhile, and worth bothering with. And, talking to people that I have known for years and years. You guys were talking earlier about connections and community, and that for me is what we're all about, man. And that's, that has always been the thing for me. I realized like over this past year, holy fuck, I know a lot of people. And, and it's not just like, oh, I know that person. It's like, no, man, we've hung together. We've, and when you talk about like, when you were talking earlier about like job interviews and stuff, man, the most important thing when I've like everything from producing bands to auditioning for parts and stuff, is like, I don't want to, I think what really comes down to is, yeah, you may be really talented, but are you a good hang?
Yep.
And, because people can go to school to learn to like run a compressor, but, they can't go to school to learn how to be a good person and not be a dick,
Yep.
Absolutely.
So
I Willis said it and I said it earlier episodes as well. I think there's a huge percentage of your time as an audio professional that you have to deal with the people. Like usually you start out 30 minutes, 45 minutes is your set time. And then the rest of that time, you got to figure out how to live with all these other people and be a people person and be willing to serve and do your, like, I noticed like that my ability to do a lot of things might've went downhill, but my ability to serve and be able to do the right thing off the bat has increased, and I owe the community that too. You know, like it's hard knocks. Definitely. If you can't have the people skills or know what your artist is asking for, or your producer or your or whoever you're working for, you're just done. You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, the creative process is really fragile, man, and we're either going to be a part of it and help it, you know, help birth these children, or we're going to get in the way. And I'd rather be a part of it, you know.
Well, that's the key thing, Daniel, is that like we want to be a part of the creative process, because like we're not making the music, we're not on stage entertaining thousands upon thousands of people. Like we're just we are facilitators.
But we have that ability. At least I hope so. We have that ability to empathize with the people who are in the middle of it, you know. And that's the whole thing, is you want to be a vessel for them, you know.
A vessel, a conduit. Like you are moving energy physically and emotionally and spiritually, all of that. Like as I mean, I'm also just like one of those people that just feels very deeply. I'm a very empathetic person.
Yeah,
yeah.
Double cancer.
Double cancer. What's up? But also for those that are numbers people, one of my friends who's the front of house for 741, one of the key pieces of advice he gave me is that 95% of your job is not behind the desk. It's when you're not behind the desk.
It's here.
Yeah. It's here. It's here.
Yep.
And it's here. It's not here.
Yep.
So, I mean, like that's part of it, but I mean, the coolest person who like,
I don't know. I kind of like the hand spider. Well, I think that's
better.
Well, that is cool. Yeah. Could you do hand birds too?
Yes. Yes.
Don't do that in St. Louis outside.
I mean, I would definitely not to keep beating a dead horse, but it's just so important and dear to me. Like that is like, you know, like that it really is about that emotional and personal connection more than anything else.
Well, so speaking about that, so Dana, for those who don't know, your brand, your company is Get It in Writing, but you do a bunch of different things, right? So obviously you spent a whole career of doing publishing. However, through the pandemic or whatever, you've come out with 2 series of I call it shows, whatever, right? You have 30-second chances, which is more of a rapid fire questioning, and then you have another one.
I love that.
Yeah,
Speed Q&A. Yep.
Yeah, and then you have Insights and Sound, which you have over 50 episodes of Insights and Sounds, and it's still, I think, quite frankly, a dark secret in our industry. And so, but I'm very curious. You know, you're doing a lot of the same work that we're doing in some ways in terms of when you're interviewing people, or maybe what I'm doing with How We Got Loud. Like, I'm very curious. What are some of you've done 50 plus episodes now with people like Jerry Palumbo and Buford Jones and like iconic people.
Amazing.
Right? What's maybe one or two ways. Has there been almost a common thread between all of these people that you've now can look back and pick up on? Or what has surprised you most about where these conversations have gone that you maybe didn't expect it to go?
Could you repeat the question?
No. That was a very big question. Very long question.
No. Okay. So actually, yeah. Okay. So first of all, the common thread on all of these, there's been a couple of things. Like for me, the common thread, and you know, I will say I take a lot of inspiration from the way you guys do it, and you guys do it like completely differently in terms of the chemistry, which I really dig. But the thing that we have in common is that I'm not interested in talking shop, right? It's like I can get into a conversation about which microphone I used on this, or whether I like an LA2A better, you know, all that shit. We can geek out for years, man, you know, and there's so many people out there whose pocket protectors are way bigger than mine. So
that's what I tell these nerds all the time.
right. But you know, what I want to talk about is the conversations that we have like off camera, you know, off the record, stuff like, you know, all the weird anecdotes, man. You know, I've always said that those of us who work behind the scenes have the best stories. We have better stories than the rock stars, man, you know, and I think for me, being able to tell those stories and at the same time convey some kind of like humanity in it all. I mean, I feel really, really grateful, first of all, that so many of these people who are just amazing, amazing people, you know, like innovators in the industry, like Patrick Gleason, who did the soundtrack to Apocalypse Now, you know, people, when I ask them, they say, yeah, man, sure. For you, absolutely. And they follow up with me afterwards and tell me, oh, that was like on a totally different level. I feel like if I can touch that part of somebody and get them to, you know, the answers you get are directly correlated to how you ask the questions. So if I can get them to come out with something and convey some sort of, you know, something different than just like what kind of gear we used and stuff, I think that teaches all of us. It sure teaches me, you know. I mean, I feel like I'm really just so lucky to be able to talk to these people and have them return my calls, you know, and to be able to convey that kind of wisdom, because let's face it, man, there's so much wisdom that all these people, every single one of us, brings to this industry and brings to our work, you know, because none of us are in this because, you know, we went to college for it. We're in this because we love what we do and we want to do it.
That's right.
You know, this is like a totally voluntary industry. You got to be absolutely batshit crazy to get into this industry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like to blame Stockholm Syndrome for this.
There you go. Yeah, there's lots of different treatments, you know, but for the most of us, really, I mean, we do this because we love it, you know? Yeah. And so for me, man, if I can bring that forward, especially to like, you know, if I think back to like 15-year-old me, I didn't have a clue what the hell I wanted out of life. And to be able to talk to 15-year-old somebody else and say, hey, you know what? It's going to be okay. You know, there are people out there who, you know, despite what you think right now, you are completely normal compared to a lot of people. And there's a place for you. It's called Pro Audio.
Yes. Come join the weirdos. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's an awesome point. And I think it's important to remember that, you know, like, even though we love our jobs, we love audio, but we also have to remember that we are so much more than our jobs. We are multifaceted, multi-layered individuals. Artists. And we have so many strengths that I think the general theme I'm hearing amongst what we've all been discussing is that, you know, that's what really matters is unlocking those other layers, you know, aside from the technical stuff.
I love that if you listen back to like the last 5 episodes in a row now, we've had a lot of emotional engineers on. And it's been really striking to me because a lot of people do get in and get the tech talk going, and it's ones and zeros, and it is what it is. That's great and all, but I really think deep down inside, every single one of us on this page, everyone in this group is an artist. And exactly. we manipulate those ones and zeros. And I think at the end of the day, knowing what the ones and zeros do, moot. Being able to manipulate those ones and zeros to make people happy, and that's it speaks volumes. And I love when the episodes draw that emotion out of that person that we have. Like it's very close to my heart. Like, punk rock kid from St. Louis, Missouri, is as tough as I think I am. I'm not. And it's cool to hear those emotions and learn how other people want to paint their picture. And thank you guys. Like, yeah. It's validated me for overthinking. It's validated me for over processing, whether it's on the console or in my head. And that's owed to all you guys, because at some point I think all of us went through this and we're like, am I the only one who really thinks that I can do this okay? Like, and now we're all getting validated, and it's great to have that community. It really is.
Agreed. I think we all had a really, really hard year, right? I mean, I think we can say that, you know, granted, we've all been
years.
Yeah.
Look at my beard.
Challenging.
We're doing pretty good now, at least compared to how we've been. But back in the spring, I went through a really, really, really hard time, and I talked to Willa about it, and I've talked to Michael about it many times, and you've all been really supportive of me. But I had this one conversation with Kyle, and I was really going through it, and I was out on my deck, and Kyle said that I'm making all of the fear up in my head. And I did not realize it until that point, like how, like, I care so much about my job and about my career, and I am so scared to not make it that I was doing this to myself, and I was really psyching myself out about, you know, all the things that would happen in the future. I mean, look at me, you know, 8 months later or whatever, and I'm doing much better than I was. But that
You
really
gotta have those lows, though.
We're all gonna have those lows, and the fact that, you know, we had this community, and we have these people that are gonna, you know, lift us up and support us and be vulnerable with us and help us through it means like so much. So I just want to thank you guys for that. Awesome. And thank you, Kyle, for that conversation. But
thank you for being my friend. Shoot.
Of course.
Thank you for being a friend.
Like what Jade said, like we all have this passion, but something this last year's taught me, if nothing else, is that I'm more than just what I do at a desk or I do for my job. I can make cool things like this.
Yeah, marmalade.
Yeah, that's pretty special.
You know, I can do other things that mean something. I'm a bird mom. I'm a daughter. I'm a friend. You know, all those things are super, super important, and I can do all those things while also being a really cool engineer and have an awesome job. So,
and I think it's important to remember that each of us touches so many other people.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it, is being able to impact lives around us just by existing and bringing something forward and facilitating. Like really? that's one of my favorite things about this job and this community and this career path. Like I get to meet amazing people and interact with them and hopefully make the world a little bit better by doing what I do.
I know we have one more guest, but I do want to ask Daniel one more question. Daniel, what's something you learned about yourself through this process of all these interviews that you have done in this kind of new, a different venture?
Oh, I think that's really what we have been talking about for the last few minutes, man. What I've learned about myself is that I really value every connection that I have to every other human, because I feel like, I think in the last year, I've been able to really focus on being present with every single person that I'm talking to and really sharing something with them. So, you know, I know we're getting like deep into pop psychology here and everything.
Bring it.
But,
love it.
You know, man, that's what I loved about this industry when I got into it as a teenager. And, you know, that's what I've loved about it ever since, is that every single person I meet, I feel like we become friends. You know, it's not just because we really, you know, if you care about other people, to me, this is my community. These are my peeps, you know, and it's always been that way. But I think, you know, you were talking earlier about what I guess we all term imposter syndrome, you know, because we're all just figuring this shit out and none of us really has any idea what the hell we're doing. Mm-hmm. But, you know, we all turn around and suddenly realize, oh yeah, wait a minute, I'm a professional. Holy shit, how did that happen? You know, and to be able to talk to somebody else and say, oh, that happens to you too? Man, that is the most heartening feeling in the whole fucking world. Seriously.
It really is.
Yeah. How many times have I called you, Will, and went, hey, am I crazy?
How many times did I call you, Kyle, and Michael, and Chris, and Hannah, like all of y'all? Like I mean, variety is the spice of life. You got to have the lows to like appreciate the highs, I guess. But also it doesn't mean that they don't suck to go through, but it is like, it's such, I mean, this just goes full circle with, we are just as vulnerable, you know, and it is a very vulnerable position to be in. We may not be in front of thousands of people, but you know, it's still this vulnerable point. So
Stokely said 27th year in TV starting January 1st. If it stops tomorrow, it's going to be just fine. I am not my job. The job is a job. Thank you, Stokely.
That's right, Stokely. You are a professional gluten-free baker, and you still owe me bread. Thank you.
And Andy barbecues. And if you're not following him on Instagram,
you gotta follow him on Instagram
and find his barbecue
frequency. Hold on, what is it? I gotta find the handle.
He can tell us. He can tell us.
Come on, type it in the comments, man.
Frequency _bread_barbecue. Go follow that on Instagram, and you won't be disappointed, and you'll get to see some like curling pictures and shit because that's what Stokely does. So
Daniel
and Kyle, I just want to call you out on one more thing because I think it's absolutely fantastic. You referred to an audience, a full house, as sacks of blood.
That's what they are.
Blood bags.
Blood water.
Blood and water.
I don't know if anybody else is a Star Trek fan here, but I like to refer to them as ugly bags of mostly water.
Are you a Trekkie?
Yeah.
How do you not know this?
Holy shit!
I have a Star Trek tattoo. I carry a tricorder in my backpack. How do you not know this?
That's
my goodness. Friendship over.
Oh,
damn.
Wow.
All right.
Daniel and all the other guests that we've had so far, y'all need to come back on the show for 2022 and we're going to blow this thing up again. Boom.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, man. Good to see you.
See you, Daniel.
I did refer to people as bags of blood, and I'm not scared.
Wesley.
I'm not.
Hey, y'all.
Wes is my OG mentee, man. He was the first person to reach out to me and say he wanted to chat. And Wes, you've had a huge year too. Kind of what a thing I wanted you to talk about a little bit is you also made a big scary change this year. You decided to become a freelance system engineer on your own, man. That's a big jump.
Yeah, stepping away from a small production company was definitely kind of a castaway moment where I had a lot of security, yet it was really brutal, especially the last 2 years, and then just choosing to go a different path, for better, for worse, has been amazing. I've been backstage actually for most of the show, so I don't want to be too redundant, but a lot of the themes that I'm hearing is that people have reevaluated how to navigate, this whole gig.
Life. It's called life.
I would say, Kyle, you said it really well. And I would put it in my terms of I'm learning to become a 3-dimensional person. And that influences everything else that I touch. Because on one hand, I might be an OG mentee with Michael, really loving the nerd side of things. But to what end? I had a band member text me last week. He said, "Hey, you talk about science too much."
So
you nerd.
Any one of us could have received that text.
Yeah, so true.
Actually,
yeah.
And while it's flattering, I'm also trying to understand that when I'm, for instance, freelancing directly for a band, what I can do for them is more so worrying about the tech so that they can worry about the art and allow them to be completely engulfed in performing. And it's such a pleasure to do that. I used to be in a band, and part of my decision to step away and be freelance was that I didn't find working for a small production company that I was frequently working with artists enough. So I wanted to try to rewrite the script a bit and put it on my terms. So it's been good that way to have a bit of repetition working directly with an artist, because now it's developing an extended relationship and getting to use that psychology that feeding myself emotionally is, showing fruit for.
Yeah.
Being able to go to a music shop and have the band want to help, they wanted me to help pick out cymbals because they were worried about bleed. And I felt that was a very nuanced yet great example of entering into a pragmatic relationship with an artist where they not only do cymbals, but
but you should have been like, okay, you can pick any of them, but you have to sell more tickets for me to like them.
No, that's a Rhino John thing. I mean, he sits down and picks out the snare, picks out the guitar amp, and everything with his artist. I mean, that's a very that level of relationship is huge.
That's a huge
I helped him pick out a
process.
drum set. I'm switching some of the guitar players to using direct emulators and everything like that.
Yay.
And because I have a music background, I literally had a studio session where we sat down in front of a pair of Nearfields and we built pedal boards and presets for their tracks. And I was,
Very good.
they handed me the trackpad for it. It sounds like shit, but I got to make the decision.
And they're all even. And they're all even. Now you can just put
right.
Oh, they didn't switch the clean sound. Oh no. So,
right.
yeah,
I made the fuzz
even.
pedal 12 dB down, so it's
Nice.
I'm joking. But that was a huge step. And I spoke with Chris a little bit about this, mainly Michael directly, but that decision to try to at least try something different. I don't know if it'll always be this way, but just to try a different path has been good because it's opening up new ways to see the world, to see music, but ultimately realize that, yeah, it's just a job. I'm now a weekend warrior, and it allows me to have, at least at this period of my life, a little bit of a home life, especially for the off season, because with COVID affecting production companies, I'm sure the rest of you have seen this too. It's brutal working for a production company with all of this limbo and zigzag. So I think I'm just going to take it easy for a little bit, but before like stability is not my number one need. Ironically, I switched to freelance at the same year, but it's been crazy.
So my question to you then is, I remember you're in Colorado, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so switching from a local production company into a freelance gig in the part of Colorado that you're at, how difficult of a jump was that? I mean, a lot of people talk about location. Oh, I need to move to Nashville. I need to move to Austin. I need to move to LA, New York, blah, blah, blah. Do you think you're going to have the same opportunities where you're at right now making that switch, or do you see yourself moving in the future?
I see myself moving in the future, but I would prefer to do it where I'm connected, ideally with an artist that would prefer you to fly out of a major city, or do it with some type of relationship that way. However, being in Colorado, it's not a straight shot to drive anywhere because there's massive elevation changes in weather. So instead of doing contracting for like particular events, I've actually found a lot of like luck with promoters reaching out to me directly who, you know, have events on both sides of Colorado and everything in between. And I become someone that's on their list for regional work instead of kind of one-off style stuff. So I've already gotten, you know, dates months in advance, which is extremely pleasing because on the system tech side of things, they're asking me to help, you know, spec out rigs that they want to buy as a promoter. And I can help, you know, pre-tune a lot of that and build a setup that's going to be slick and allow them to mitigate a lot of those challenges that normally would be there if I'm just driving all over, you know, console of the day, that kind of stuff. But because I'm allowed to be on the inside informing promoters on how to purchase without competing with my previous employer, I want to make sure that's clear. It's looking pretty good. We'll see how it goes. You know, I'm kind of pessimistically looking forward to how it's going to go, but
you know, it's funny. There was interesting counter, you know, question, if you will, to what you just did. Right, you were full time, went freelance. Kat, you're full time, going to another full time position. So Anthony in our Facebook group said, I'm an A1 based in Atlanta, debating going full time with a production company versus remaining freelance. Any disadvantages to going, you know, full time with a company, you know. So that's, you know, it's an interesting topic, right? I mean,
yes.
It's the answer's not going to be the same for everyone, right? I mean, when you're freelance, you're responsible for your next gig, right? There's that hustle. When you're on a gig, you're working on finding that next gig, and you're collecting invoices, or putting out invoices and collecting paychecks, that type of thing, right?
Hopefully collecting them.
You know, as a freelancer, you might not get to do some of the gigs you necessarily want to do because you got to just make sure you're securing income. Whereas a full-timer, you might get quite a variety. Like if you're in like a full-scale production house, one day you're doing a Super Bowl parade, and the next day you're doing, you know,
park stage. Say park stage.
You know. So I mean, I think there's a lot of advantages of both. I mean, if you're the person who doesn't like the hustle of finding your own work, and being your own brand and identity, and you're not good with balancing, you know, payroll that's not going to come in for weeks at a time, then full time is probably a better place for you. I don't think there's a right or wrong, and some people I think are going to ebb and flow in their career in terms of the better places. So,
but come by our Discord and talk about that with the community. But I mean, I think that the question that you want to ask yourself, that Jamie asked me about 9 times in a row at our holiday party because he was drinking, like, so he kept saying,
fired.
He kept saying, what do you want? Right, and in our context, where the company's growing and we're doing more things now.
Hold on. I'm so at this point, I'm gonna bring back the rest of the guests so anybody can jump in.
Hell
right?
yeah, let's do it.
All right, so
Kat's
Leo and Daniel.
I was wondering why you were talking to Kat.
Party! Hi.
So
what's up?
So well, I want to say, Kat, did I not? Is that exactly? Isn't that what I told you? Right? Like you're like, hey, I'm interviewing XX and X. Right? I don't want to necessarily name all them, but
like
I'm
Brady
like,
Bunch right now, yo.
Yeah, whatever.
So
I got to take off. I got to take off these banners too. Anyway, and I told you, Kat. I said, hey, if two people offer you the job, why are you going to choose one or the other?
Right.
And you need to have an answer as to why you want to do X.
Well, it's what do you want, right? So I mean, there's so many different things that we're doing around the office, and some of them are my responsibility, and there's application support, and there's documentation, there's training, and there's all this different stuff. And so Jamie was like, yeah, but write down what you want your job to be. Like, we want you to do stuff that you like. So if you're thinking about, do I want to be fully freelance? Do I want to be full time? Like, but I want, like, ask yourself that question. I think sometimes we don't ask ourselves that question. We're just so caught up on what's the next gig and what's the next thing we're trying to get, and that's going to be a cool opportunity. But do you ever stop and think about what it is that you want? And Wes, in particular, you and I have talked for hours about, I think, your tool set, dealing with artists. I mean, holy cow, Kat, that's loud as shit.
Sorry.
Thunder roll.
Wes, you were doing nuisance noise documentation, and you were recording train whistles, and you were doing wedding gate. Like, what I see from that is that you developed your tool set as a professional, and you learned how to charge fairly for your own time, and you learned how to talk diplomatically with your employers, and you learned how to prioritize gigs. And so all of that stuff goes in the bucket, man, and that allows you to leverage the situation that you're in. So I think, the development, like, we'd love to talk tech, but the development that you've done is just making yourself a more rounded professional, a more rounded person, and I think that's a huge part of you being comfortable in whatever venture you're going to go through. So I think, this idea of, but what do I actually want to do is a really important idea. And I think a lot of us don't spend enough time asking ourselves that question.
And going back to the Chris Leonard moniker, you got to either make a career decision or a life decision.
Yep.
And I think that's huge because I worked with production companies for a long time, but I was still freelance. And then I made the choice to work for the production company. And like you said, it's another tool now. And I'm helping customers before they even know I'm helping customers. And it's a different life. Like, shop life is different. I'm sure Chris could tell you as well. And those have, Kat, you'll be able to reply after you've worked in Lidditz for a bit. It's a process, and it comes down to a new thing that most of us freelancers don't get is policy and procedure. Something that we don't talk about as freelancers is policy and procedure. When it comes to a job in a warehouse, pushing around gear and making sure people get the things that they need, it's policy and procedure. And it's almost like the Home Depot of audio. And thank goodness I was shut down for COVID and got to work at Home Depot for a few months, because I get it now. I'm like, oh, it's like Home Depot, but there's like speakers.
Stokely has said he's been freelancing since 2007, would never go back. He likes controlling his schedule. That's a big thing when you're a freelancer, right? You can dictate your schedule. As long as you can manage your income and can hustle your work, cool, that's great. Troy Topinka, my rule as a freelancer, I have to want to do it, or it has to pay. So sometimes, I think that's sometimes too, is like, as a freelancer, sometimes you may have to take some gigs you don't necessarily want to do.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's kind of a privileged position. Like, when you're just starting out, you kind of have to take everything. But
Troy's been around a minute, so
awesome that he's able to do that. And I'm in a wonderful position where I can do that too. But a lot of people are not, where you literally have to do whatever comes your way.
No, but the flip side of that too, Willie, you are the queen of, I want this gig, so I'm going to go after it. Like, because I think it's cool. Like, that's enough for you, and I think that's paid off. I think that's cool.
See all these lights and hot water? I paid for those.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit, like, I'm very blessed, and I got lucky with the people that I've come in contact with that have allowed me to just bully them into letting me take over their projects. So, but yeah, I mean, it really kind of depends. Like, when I was first freelancing, I had 12 venues that I was working with. And I was kind of going like through, I was working all over Austin and outside of Austin, and like sometimes doing 2 a days, most of the time doing 2 a days. But now I am very blessed to say that I have enough of a reputation from my 3 years of doing that I can kind of pick and choose, and I have higher paying jobs. So as you keep going, you can eventually say like, I'm not getting off my couch for less than 400 a day, which is amazing. And like for me, like it really depends on the gig. Like if it's a cool gig, I'm probably going to do it. Doesn't matter what the pay is, within reason. But anyway,
can I just say how interesting it is? So Stokely said he turned down NHL broadcast so he could do because he hates mixing hockey, which is ironic because you've mixed a lot of hockey. So he does Blue Jays and then he does curling. I'm sorry, but I find it interesting that curling is more fascinating to mix than NHL. I'm just saying. I don't know.
He talks about that in his interview that he did with us. He goes into why curling is so important or so much more fun.
I wish you would have called me to do a couple Leafs games. I would have showed
all
up.
Kyle wants to do is mix sports now. This is what I'm learning about.
I know, I love it,
dude. I want to do a parab, dude. I want to go out on a parab, and I want to just. And the problem with me is I'd be like, I'm not care at the broadcast. What's this guy saying? Oh, what's this guy saying?
Chris, Ben Jones wants to know where you got that sweater.
Oh, PA of the day.
Yeah, it's pretty
hey,
cool. Actually, I don't have a bad Christmas sweater. I should get one.
Ben Jones also told me that Lawrence will be in St. Louis, Missouri on April 5th. So I'm definitely going to come see you, Leo. Like
Kyle, I'll reach out.
Kyle, it's an awesome show, man. You're going to love it. It's so fun.
I love it. Oh, and I will mention, I'm going to give a little props to myself. I will be on Vince's show backstage.
Yeah.
And so I'll be on with Vince and Kyle on June 6th. And I am so nervous. Like,
What? All right. Well, and here's the deal. I've been talking to Daniel behind the scenes. He's going to get the three of us on his show as well. And
do we get 30 seconds each, or do we only get 10 seconds?
Well, hold on. There's two shows. I don't know. There's Insights and Sound, and there's 30 seconds. So I mean, a little bit up to Daniel and how he wants it. Or maybe we do both. I don't know. I mean.
Oh, here comes Jesus. Thank you, Kyle.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
It's just a picture of young Jesus.
Drive by.
That was a singer from
Puddle of Mud.
Yeah, Puddle of
Mud. Well, I again, before we wrap things up, I definitely want to say thank you. First of all, everybody on the screen, I've learned a ton from all of you. Almost all of you, I've seen you in person this year. We hung out, which is awesome. Wes and Daniel, I got to come see you next year for sure. I hope I see everybody again. I want to say thank you to the entire community. We want to say a big thank you to Keith Clark and our whole family at ProSign Web. I know Keith and Julie are home watching the show right now, so they've done an awesome job supporting us and taking care of us. So.
I heard they're working on our rap tour bus for the tour.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I heard a rumor that we're going to be out at the NAMM show this year doing the loudspeaker demo, maybe. So we'll have to see about that.
Hold on, real quick. I want to know a shout out. So Todd's watching. Ben, you had asked where I got this shirt from. This is a shirt from PA of the day.
Is your neck hot from the Santa beard? This seems like it would make your neck hot.
No, quit making fun of it.
No, the most annoying thing about this thing is I have to lift it up to drink my beer. But anyway,
and it does the same thing, you know.
Yeah, but go to paoftheday.com and there's a bunch of cool audio shirts there. My favorite one is the one that my wife got me that says.
Where's catering? Wrong site.
Sound is just wiggly air.
Yes.
That's like my favorite.
I like that one.
So good.
So Todd, thank you very much for all that you do. PA of the day. Yeah. Anyway,
it's been a hell of a year. Thanks to Sound Girls. Thanks to all the people who tune in and comment on our page and post questions and pictures, and thanks for all the mentors and mentees. Thanks to Michael and Chris and all these fine people that help me out on a daily basis. Holy cow. 250,000 downloads. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Let's
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Stay safe
Happy
out
holidays,
there.
Really good to
y'all.
talk
Holidays,
to you guys.
everyone.
Yeah, happy
Happy
holidays.
Cheers.
everyone.
Salud.
Cheers.